A massive thank you to Nate, IAB, Saki, Bottledrop, Bennett, Akos and Jabba for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 16 of season 2 of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we head to the US Grand Prix. The title fight might be starting to go one way, just a little bit at this stage of the year, but plenty left to be decided right up and down the order of the grid there. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video from Japan, I would definitely recommend going back and checking out. As of today as well, I'm going to be starting running some polls as well for this career mode to sort of help us decide what we're going to do ready for Season 3. The first one will be going live later on today, so make sure you check out the community tab on the channel. Whether we're going to be trying to re-sign Schwartzman for Season 3 or whether you guys want me to pick up someone different for Season 3. Haven't decided who's in the running for that place if you guys vote against Schwartzman. But yeah, make sure you keep checking out the community tab on the channel as well in the final few races of the year. Though championship-wise, you can see we're currently tied with Lance Stroll, 89 points apiece as we head into COTA this weekend. There, Hamilton, though, still clear out front. Could theoretically wrap up the world title today with a 109-point advantage. 111-point advantage even. But he'd need to outscore Lando Norris by 19 points and Daniel Ricciardo by a further 17 as well there. So unlikely that Hamilton will wrap it up today. Like we said in the last one, Mexico seems a lot more likely for that. And of course, Mercedes still 62 points clear out in the Constructors' Championship. A brilliant battle going on between Aston Martin and Red Bull for P4 as well there. But yeah, let's head towards the US Grand Prix then. Don't think we've got any upgrades in the works at the moment. We really are just trying to save ourselves ready for next year. Fingers crossed, yeah, we get some rule changes over the next couple of weekends announced as well then. But fingers crossed, you know, everything still in good running order within the team at the moment. You can see we're trying to keep Schwartzman's focus up late on in the year. We got plenty of money in the budget as well if we do want to go with a big name signing even, I should say, for next year. There you can see 7,005,000 R&D points as well. Let's dive in to the US Grand Prix. Right, well, here we are then, at COTA, round 16 of the year, 5 races to go here of Season 2 of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, and fingers crossed we can try and finish the year on a high here. Not under too much threat from Alpine behind us in the Constructors' Championship, as the back end apparently is very loose. Might have to up the ride height after this track acclimatisation lap. But yeah, definitely still have got some battles going on right the way through to the end of the year here, and just excited to see whether McLaren can try and close back up that gap to Mercedes. We saw them do it once so far this year. They did manage to get the gap down to 9 points at one stage, but Yuki Tsunoda seems to have finally pulled his finger out. He clearly wants to be re-signed, ready for next year.
Watch your MFD for the activation point.
Back end very loose so far though on this track acclimatisation run. We'll make some changes once we get back to the pits. Of course, just testing the waters early on in this session, as Alpine seem to have brought more upgrades this weekend. That is way too late into there, though. I always seem to overshoot that corner on F1 2021, and I really just don't know why. But yeah, Alpine have brought more upgrades this weekend, so on paper they are quicker than us once more. So not ideal. But like we said, we're banking on some rule changes for Season 3, and if they don't come, obviously we've got all the R&D points. We'll just have to accept the fact we sacrificed a few races at the end of Season 2. Right, well, I'm hoping the setup changes have been made and made the car a lot more stable there. No dramatics through Turn 2 that time round. As we head through the S's, definitely means we can carry a lot more confidence in the car. Of course, the AI is still so strong through here. I mean, we're pretty much doing as best as I think we can do through there. We've lost almost half a second to the AI, but again, down the straightaways with the ERS, we should be able to make a lot of that time back up. But fingers crossed, yeah, this race practice run can go well. But it seems like we have just about got enough pace in the car there. It's not particularly comfortable.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
Yeah, we're only managing to complete the goal by a couple of tenths at the very best here, and I do feel like we are pushing pretty hard. But hey-ho, we're at least getting the purple score. Final lap has been a lot better though as we head through the final corner. We are going to be, yeah, a good 3 tenths up there, so finding more time.
You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up.
Fingers crossed though, we've got enough pace this weekend to at least sneak into Q2. There's our old nemesis, Fernando Alonso. Well, a very overcast start to our Saturday here from the US Grand Prix, but fingers crossed, you know, these cooler track temperatures can help us out there. About a 20% chance of rain here in Q1. Doesn't look like it's going to happen there. I think it's just a lot of cloud coverage sitting around the circuit. What does need to happen, though, yeah, is we get ourselves into Q2 once more. Here was really disappointed with that Japan last time around. We were so close as well. Had we found another 10th, we would have been safe. But of course, a lot of grid penalties at this time of the year. We had a pretty good run last time out at Kota. If you remember last season there, myself and Kimi Räikkönen worked quite nicely together over the course of that race. As we head through the end of Sector 1. Oh, big wobble out of the first sector. They're really pushing to the absolute limit with this car, but still hopefully finding a bit of time. Giovinazzi sets the benchmark of a 130.5, so he should hopefully go sub 130 here. Right in the final couple of corners though, trying not to use the IndyCar line too much. They're a little bit overshooting through the final turn, but we'll get the power down. It will be a 29.8 at the end of our first run there, so quite happy with that. A little way off the likes of Hamilton and Tsunoda, as you'd expect. Schwartzman has gone quicker than us as well, but I think we're a bit more on the money. Right, we're going to give ourselves a little bit more time this weekend, just in case we do mess up this second run of the session here, but currently just in the drop zone down in P17. Quite what we need. We need to go a bit quicker than Guan Yu Zhou and our teammate Schwartzman. It tends to be Bottas that really upsets the rhythm here. Obviously in that Williams, you wouldn't expect the Williams to have the pace still to get into Q2, but Bottas does get everything out of that thing and maybe just a little bit more. So we head through the yesterday. That was a lot of curb through the first couple. That was still pretty much even with our previous lap. They're really chucking it in to Sector 2 and finding a little bit more time because of it. Oh, another big wobble on the exit though. And you can see there, despite the oversteer we got last time, remember, still a 10th down at the end of Sector 1. Really stamp on the throttle through the hairpin. Avoid the wheel spin on the exit. We're now a 10.5 down though, so we head down the back straightaway here. Has not been the lap we needed so far. Have to be really brave down in through Sector 3 here. Stamp on the anchors just after the 150 board. Really trying to take a lot of curb through there, and that's going to find us a little bit of time again. That's what we like to see. Running just a bit deep though, as we head through the double right into the double left. Try and give yourself a straight run out of here there to avoid the wheel spin, and we're still 2/10 down. So we head through the final couple of corners of the lap here. Try and keep it tight through the Turkey S section. Round in the penultimate corner though, that was pretty tidy. We are pretty much going to be level with our previous lap as we head out of the final corner there. A lot of curb out the final turn, but a 10th up doesn't improve us whatsoever there, and that felt like a pretty hooked up lap. This is going to be difficult. And as we head back out, ready for our final lap, we're not going to have time here to get one more lap in. We're going to be out in Q1 for the second weekend in a row here, so we're just not going to have enough time there. Got caught up behind Bottas and P18 at very best at the end of qualifying for the US Grand Prix there. Like I said, I felt like we got everything out of the car, but it just wasn't good enough. Look at that, you can see the likes of the Alpines down in the mid-128s there. Lundgaard gets through into Q2, but neither Schwartzman or myself sneaking it through there. You can see our teammate missed out by 7 thousandths of a second to Christian Lundgaard here, but both out in Q1 for the US Grand Prix. That hasn't happened in quite a few races here, and just really struggled to get to grips with the car though. We probably could have both snuck through, but Bottas on a 28.8, a second quicker than ourselves. The Williams man surely is in contention for a ride with 212 Motorsport next year there, but Tsunoda down in P11 as well. They're so tightly bunched between the top runners, but nothing we can do now. We're going to have to get our head down. Let's dive in to the US Grand Prix.
Welcome once again then to the United States Grand Prix here in the magnificent city of Austin. It was here in 2018 that Kimi Räikkönen delighted the world by winning for the first time in 114 races. There's always a record to be broken, so what, I wonder, is in store for us today? It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside the great city of Austin. This is the 3.6 mile lap with 20 corners, 10 each to the left and to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Russell, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso, Perez, Gasly, Leclerc, they've taken a grid penalty, and Yuki Tsunoda, Bottas, Verstappen, and Guan Yu Zhou and Lundgaard. Sainz, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Schwartzman, Mr. Monaco and Nicholas Latifi. Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid, ready for the US Grand Prix, and I can't lie to you guys, I think we need a bit of a miracle here today if we want to try and get some good points in this GP. We're going to take a big gamble here. We're going to try and do a softer medium strategy here. 12 and then to the end on those mediums there. The team doesn't think it's doable, but that's what we're going with, so that should hopefully be a lot quicker in the Grand Prix. But it means we're probably going to have to nurse the rubber throughout a lot of this, or pray for a safety car at some point during this Grand Prix. Of course, Schwartzman, always known for being brave down in towards turn 1. We saw that at Russia just a couple of weekends ago as well there, so we'll wait and see if he does the same today, starting on the inside there. We actually had, I think, a similar thing happen last year here at COTA as well. But ready on the grid then, 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Off to a pretty tentative start there in the end as we head down towards turn 1.
Reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Love that from the team there. So we're going to have to drain through the battery early on in this Grand Prix as we're still side by side with our teammate Schwartzman through turn 2 there. See Carlos Sainz just a little bit slow in front of us on in the Ferraris. Oh, look at that. The AI so aggressive in towards the S's on lap 1 there. I certainly do not have the same bravery as a lot of those guys there. Ocon's made good progress off the start. Straight up into 18th place though in this US Grand Prix. But yeah, for us though, certainly, yeah, very tentative there. So easy to lose your front wing on lap 1 here at COTA, just with the nature of the S's and everything like that. We'll try and have a look back around the outside of our teammate down at the hairpin, though, and look at that. Right around the outside we go, like Schwartzman wasn't even there. He's going to get a good run on us as we head back up the straightaway, though. We're going to have to use a load of battery. We may as well have to anyway at the moment if we've got energy store issues. But we are past our teammate once again. Thought about it up on Carlos Sainz there. We showed the nose, but Sainz having none of it. And yeah, we have moved up one spot then off the start of this Grand Prix there. We've got Verstappen and Tsunoda in the Red Bull and the Merc just in front of us as well there. Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. So it's safe to say the field, yeah, is a bit jumbled up. One thing that isn't jumbled up, though, of course, still is Hamilton. Loves this US Grand Prix circuit. He's won round here so many times in the past. Of course, had that heartbreak last season of the engine failure. But he leads the way at the end of lap 1. Trying to get another good run on Carlos Sainz as we head down the back straightaway here. But the AI seem to have pretty good top-end speed this weekend. We'll have a bit of another send up the inside. And again, Sainz having none of it. There was a tiny bit of contact that time round. But yeah, Sainz not willing to back out of this fight. Fair play to him.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Oh, Sainz big lock up in towards turn 1 there. He clearly knew something was going to happen. Panicked a little bit, and we will pounce on that opportunity. That was a bit lucky there, to be honest, that he locked up. Otherwise, I'm not sure we would have been able to sneak past him. But now with a P15, got to be brave off the start here, as I'm sure Sainz, yeah, pretty fed up with that Ferrari. Reliability issues all season long. Guan Yu Zhou now, the next man ahead of us, though, has not made the impact I think he wanted to in his first season of Formula 1 there. Pierre Gasly just so comfortable in that AlphaTauri. And there's not really a lot Zhou's been able to do this year to even get close to him. We do get a bit closer down the end of the back straight, though, but not close enough. Right, can we do what we did to Sainz just one lap ago here to Guan Yu Zhou? The young Chinese driver, very much aware of it. We will have a look round the outside in towards turn 1 there, much later on the brakes. We'll have the inside for turn 2 as we head back down the hill. That's going to be a cheeky little move now, a bit of P14. Starting to make some good progress in this Grand Prix. Felt, I'll be honest, not particularly confident in the car after qualifying, but race pace, yeah, this thing still tends to come alive. Ujo coming back at us as we head down the back straightaway, so clearly not done with this battle just yet. So the Chinese driver does give us some good racing room on the exit. It's a good little battle, actually. So he goes side by side in through Sector 3. Going to cost us both a lot of time to the guys in front, and we will slam the door shut. But yeah, that has cost us both, but nice to see the AI with a bit of fight back. Christian Lundgaard is under immense pressure though early on in this Grand Prix. I think that's what's keeping all of these cars close together. Here he's got Aston Martins, Ferraris, even the Williams of Bottas is applying the pressure there and not falling away with Tsunoda and Verstappen sat there. We're trying to just hang on to the coattails of these guys at the moment. Get ourselves just that little bit closer, but remember, we are on a slightly different strategy, I think. We've got to nurse these tyres. Right, come on then, Max Verstappen, let's see what you've got in that Red Bull. Really has been an up and down year for the young Dutchman. Hasn't had too many highs, but let's just see if we can get down around the outside. Oh, way too late over the curbing. Almost into the back of Yuki Tsunoda there, and we will have to slot back in, but can't say I didn't try. The good run though on Verstappen as we head back down towards turn 1 there. We have not been deterred by that little mistake. Slotting it up the inside there, get alongside the Red Bull, and Verstappen,
Nice work.
rather uncharacteristically, has backed out. See this train though from Lundgaard expands from about P7 to P19 in this Grand Prix. It is a bit ridiculous this early on in the race there. The Lundgaard's able to hold on there. The Aston Martin though, trying to look round the outside. Not too sure that is Lance Stroll, who obviously we're in a big battle with title-wise as well there. So really, yeah, Lundgaard holding him up is doing a worldie for us. But it's just how long can the Alfa Romeo go? Tsunoda, I think, is getting a bit fed up, stuck behind Valtteri Bottas in this Grand Prix. But we want to try and have a look for a move on Tsunoda now. So we head out onto the back straightaway. Mercedes versus 2-2 Motorsport. Look at that, Tsunoda's got nothing top end. Clearly the Merc's still not very good at sitting in the dirty air there. And we're going to have a look straight at the inside of Yuki Tsunoda there. And I think genuinely that was the easiest move we pulled off all day. Stroll now moves past Lundgaard. So he's going to try to escape now in this race. That means now we're under a lot more pressure to try and make these moves work if we want to be able to hang on to a lot of these guys. Right now all over the back of Bottas as we head back up towards turn 1. It is Williams. Oh, that was a bit braver. Bottas tried to turn in on me, but we were quite clearly down the inside there, mate. And now back into 11th here at Cota. Next up, Charles Leclerc separates us from points. Here we go, Charles Leclerc now on Lundgaard as we head down the back straightaway. There's been plenty of action early on in this Grand Prix there, and Charles Leclerc clean around the outside. There might have been a little bit of contact, actually. Lundgaard, I think, got close to going into the back of Charles in through Sector 3. But now Charles Leclerc, I'm at 10th, and we need... I'm at 9th even. We need to get past Lundgaard here if we want some points. A lot of AI into the pit lane, though. Charles Leclerc and Lance Stroll are two of them, but Lundgaard opts to stay out for another lap here. So we head through the final turn. These tyres definitely starting to go off, but we've got the likes of Alonso in. They're on hards. Ricciardo on hards as well. He's actually going to come out just in front of us here alongside Lundgaard. No, Lundgaard tries to get the switch back on him. Can't get the power down though on the exit of the corner. I think these guys are all trying to go to the end as well. There's a little bit of a run on Lundgaard there. Thought better of that. But hopefully now we can try and get past the Alfa Romeo there, as that is ridiculous grip. That's what I mean about the high downforce there. There's no way Lundgaard would hold on to that in real life. Yeah, these tyres now very much reaching the end of their usable life, as Lundgaard already has lost the DRS to Daniel Ricciardo in this race. Going to make him a bit of a sitting duck as we head down the back straightaway. And we will get right around our ex-teammate. Very, very deep on the brakes there. Bit of a lock-up, but we get it slowed down. That was full send at the end of the straight, but we've got another couple of laps before we pit. Right in the final corner then. A couple more guys into the pits behind us. We are going to be up into the podium places, albeit just for a moment in this Grand Prix. Schwartzman into the pits. We're not actually going to be into the podium places, as I think Perez has stayed out another lap here. But yeah, all these guys going on hards. I think they are trying to make it to the end. So perhaps, yeah, this one-stop OP might not quite work out as well as I hoped. I thought a lot of guys would be on the tour, but should still mean we're quicker towards the end. Tyres now very much at the end of their life here of this first stint, but we've stretched them, yeah, really, really well, I think, overall, and not losing too much to the guys in front there, just having to be so smooth. Driving like I pay for them, I think, is the expression. Technically, I do, though. Of course, owner of the team.
Gap ahead is 3.9 seconds.
4 seconds the gap to Ricciardo, but yeah, we are going to be peeling in. Right in the final couple of corners, heading into the pit lane. Perez as well into the pit, so he's been able to extend that stint really nicely as well there. In his Red Bull, we just about get it slowed down very, very aggressively into the pit lane. So yeah, there we go. Sergio is doing the same strategy as us. It worked well for Lance Stroll last season here, but I'm not too sure where we're going to come out. I think we're probably going to end up in Lundgaard's train once again in this race. As look how worn out those tyres were. 2.7 isn't particularly great either, but a short run back to the pit exit. Are we going to stay out ahead of Lundgaard's group? It's going to be mighty close. Yes, look at that. We've done it.
Dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So we are now up into P11 then of the Grand Prix, and we're going to be on quicker rubber to the end of this race. Points could still be a possibility here. We've got to try and get to Verstappen though, who is no easy driver. And they're both pushing like crazy. I'm trying to get into his DRS. He's trying to get into the DRS of Charles Leclerc, and Lance Stroll just in front of him. And it's just a case of who will get there first. The gaps are pretty much coming down evenly though at this stage of the Grand Prix. But we've got to be careful we don't take too much out of the rubber as well here early on. We want to try and get into the points, and then I think we're just going to spend the rest of the day defending. Let's how many points can we get ourselves into. We have now got DRS on Max Verstappen here, but I think he's going to have DRS on the guys in front. Is he? No, it doesn't look like he has. So Verstappen, he's definitely within DRS range now. Oh no, there we go. He does have DRS on the guys in front of him. I think Stroll now starting to cause a little bit of a train here, but we've got to think about this really, really carefully. Oh, we've got a good run of Verstappen back down towards turn 1. Can we have a look for it? No, not quite close enough this time round there. Verstappen having absolutely none of it as well second time round. He let us through first time early on in this Grand Prix, but he's not backing out of the fight this time. Now we've got to be looking though. We've got yellow flags out. It's someone behind us. I think it is Lundgaard out of the Grand Prix there. So I think Lundgaard has had an engine failure by the looks of it. Heartbreak for Christian in this race, but we've got to try and get around Max Verstappen here. Are we going to get a safety car from that? Verstappen not willing to back out of it. We do get right around the outside there, and we do now move ourselves up into the points of this race as long as we can keep it up the inside now. Slam the door on the exit, but Lundgaard, another Ferrari power unit. Is that 2 or 3 in a row once again here? Gone up in smoke this weekend, and heartbreak for Christian Lundgaard, who had been doing a fantastic defensive drive up to that point. Charles Leclerc, a bit of a wobble out of the final corner.
10 now. Keep it up.
And Charles Leclerc vulnerable as we head back down towards turn 1 there to the outside of the Ferrari. Wasn't expecting to be able to make a move here, but we will try for it. Down the outside. We'll get the power down on the exit of the corner. Just use a splasher battery. I'm going to up to P9 of the Grand Prix. Still 12 to go though. If we can get past Stroll and build up a little bit of advantage though, that would be perfect. Right, come on then, Sir Lancelot. Let's see what you got. Of course, we need to try and finish ahead of him if we want to keep in this battle with the far quicker Aston Martin late on this year. To the outside of the Canadian there. Get all over the curb in. Oh, Stroll really aggressive though. There is wheel-to-wheel contact, but we do get around the outside though, and we're going to slam that door on the exit of the corner there. The Canadian being really aggressive in towards the turn 10, turn 11. I don't know corner names around here, but we have pulled off the move. And we're up into 8th place there. Alonso 5 seconds up the road. Could we close up to him, or will we get a repeat of Japan?
Good pace. You're catching the car in front by a second per lap.
Love to hear that at this stage of the day. Closing up to Alonso by 1 second a lap. Wasn't really too focused on trying to close up to him, just trying to pull away from Stroll, but if they can happen hand in hand, that'll be nice. Schwartzman in again.
Robert in the pits.
Don't know what the team have done to Schwartzman's race today then, but I would not be too stopping this if I were him. Bit late now to say that, but hey-ho. Oh, yellow flags. I think it's Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo might be out of the US Grand Prix here, and this could give us another place in this race. Has he lost it, or has he just binned it? So riding on board then with Daniel Ricciardo. No! For the second time in about 3 Grand Prix, Ricciardo has just looped it by himself there, trying to push to close up the gap to Lewis Hamilton. He's been keeping Hamilton honest in so many Grand Prix late on this year, but Ricciardo, yeah, just really struggling with the rear end of that McLaren.
Some information on Latifi. They are out of the race.
And now Latifi's out. What's happened to the Canadian? Riding on board then with Latifi. Oh, it has been an engine failure for the Canadian there. So another Mercedes power unit has gone up then. And Williams' poor reliability all year has struck Nicholas Latifi this time round there. Carnage in the later stages of the US Grand Prix. We have really started to close down the gap to Fernando Alonso here, but we've got to be careful. Of course, we fell into this trap last time started closing in on him, and then he just started using his battery, and we got to about 1.2 behind, and then just couldn't do anything more at Suzuka. Definitely have a much clear-cut advantage, though, this weekend, so fingers crossed. If now we've got the DRS with a bit of luck, as long as we don't do anything stupid, we can really try and fight this. Alright, all over the back now of Alonso. Now we've got some DRS as well. How vulnerable is the Alpine going to be as we head down the back straightaway? It was the battle we should have had last weekend, but we just missed out on. And we are definitely applying a lot of pressure now to Fernando. But surely it's a matter of when rather than if this time. It's the final few corners we're really making up a lot of time there as well. The Alpine, big kick of wheel spin. We can do a little bit as well there. But Alonso, he is going to try and push us right down towards the wall. In towards turn 1 then, nice and early on the brakes, make sure we don't understeer out into him, but we will now move past Fernando Alonso in this Grand Prix, and I'm into 7th place here, from 17th on the grid. It has been a fantastic slice and dice our way through the field this weekend up to now, but we got to try and got 5 laps to try and hang on ahead of the Alpine here, and what would be, rather weirdly, quite a big result for us. 3 laps to go here from Kota.
The car in front is 4.9 seconds.
I swear down, Jeff every single time tries to interrupt me here on F1 2021. But yeah, really just trying to hold this good level of momentum in the car at this stage of the day. Really do feel like we're still pushing. Just so A, we don't fall back into Alonso, and B, then we don't sort of mess the tyres up. They're in a really good operating window at the moment, and I don't really want it to slip out of it either way. Well, on to the final lap then of this US Grand Prix, and Fernando Alonso is really trying to push us again now. He's closed back in through the S's. We've definitely got now to the point where these mediums aren't as quick as the hards anymore, and we are really starting to struggle on this final lap of the Grand Prix. They're having to use all the curb as we head out onto the back straight. But we're going to have to go defensive on the Alpine driver here. Of course, exactly the same engine, but he's got the DRS. As we head down in towards Sector 3. Oh, Alonso completely rams into the back of me. What was that from Fernando? Has he given himself any damage really late on in this Grand Prix there? Not a fan of that. I mean, it wasn't like we aggressively moved across him or anything like that there. But it is going to be Hamilton that comes through to win this US Grand Prix there. Rewrites the wrongs of last year and further cements himself as the championship-elect there. It looks like he's actually gone really slowly over the finish line, so perhaps the car was having issues at the final couple of corners here. But from 17th on the grid, we are going to come through for P7 here at Kota. Love that.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
And with that, another year of Formula One draws to a close, and the new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. Not just victory today then, but the championship as well. What a spectacular season they've had. Congratulations to the whole team. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the US Grand Prix, and apparently I got my maths wrong. I thought we had 4 races to go after today. We've got Mexico, we've got Australia, we've got Abu Dhabi, we have got 4 races to go after today. I thought we had 5 races to go after today, so I thought Hamilton needed 130 points. Really, all he had to do was make sure he left here with a 105-point margin. 104 points even, sorry, at the top of the championship there. So apologies, Lewis Hamilton is officially a 9-time Formula 1 World Champion, and I probably should have hyped that up a whole lot more in the dying stages of the Grand Prix there. Lando Norris comes through for P2, only beating out his teammate Ricciardo by a second in the end, despite Ricciardo's Gymkhana sort of job interview, I suppose, in the middle of that Grand Prix there. George Russell in P4, another fantastic job done by him. So 3 Brits inside your top 4 there. All 4 of us inside the top 7 doing really, really well this weekend there. Pierre Gasly still just miracle runs in that AlphaTauri, finishing up in 5th place. There is a dominant display, and he is definitely in the running for our teammate for Season 3 as well, if you guys vote out of Robert Schwartzman even, I should say there. Perez 6th ahead of ourselves, Alonso, Stroll and Leclerc round out your top 10 there, with Verstappen and Tsunoda just missing out on points at the end of the Grand Prix there. Bottas is strong firm early on, fell off later on in the Grand Prix there ahead of Guan Yu Zhou, and our teammate Robert Schwartzman down in 16th place at the end of the day there. Still beats out Giovinazzi. Ocon, just what is he doing in that Alpine at this stage of the year there, and just Latifi and Lundgaard not making it through to the checkered flag. Does mean championship-wise, we're now tied with Carlos Sainz in at P7 there, so definitely still in the hunt there, as the Aston Martin's now tied as well, just behind us. 95, 95, 91, 91, 4 cars, 4 points. Who's going to come out on top in the final few races of the year there? But Hamilton 119 clear with 104 available in the last few races of the year now, is officially a 9-time Formula 1 World Champion. Insane stats coming from the Englishman there. And Mercedes still, looking pretty good for the championship as well there. No other movers in the Drivers' Championship. 55 still the gap for Mercedes, with a few races to go of the year as well. There's Ferrari, another torrid weekend. Aston Martin pull away from Red Bull though once more, as we've almost now got to the 100-point mark as well there. It's just a case of whether Gasly can keep putting out those banging results for AlphaTauri as well in the final few races of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon, ready for round 17 of the year. Round 17 of the year, we head to Mexico. You guys do not want to miss it. A massive thank you for the continued support from our channel members, featuring The Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David, Ben, Aiden, Eustathios, Kato and Sean for their continued support on the channel. None of the videos would be possible without their support, and if you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you click the join button below.